the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Monday morning. We are glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. It's Brett and Faith as we get you started here on a brand new week, and we're glad to have all of you that tune us in wherever it is. Faith, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you too. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It was a weekend to just kind of stay inside when this weather flipped. I mean, whoever likes this, I'm sorry. We don't have a lot in common. That's all I can tell you.
28 out right now.
And it's the wind that sucks. The cold's one thing.
Feels like 22.
It's kind of like everybody talking about heat. It's like I can stand hot, but don't add the hot and the humidity together. Right? It just makes it smothering. Well, cold's one thing, but when you add 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, that sucks. So I'm just saying, I know you and I don't like it. I don't know many people that like it. So it's time to stay inside. It's the season of indoors, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's freezing, and I know my dog is not made to be a cold outside dog. She can lay out in the heat all day long. I wouldn't do that to her, but she could. She loves the heat, hates the cold. She is a shivering little 75. Nope, she's 85 pounds. Yeah, 85-pound big baby who hates the cold. So that's right. She and I, we're inside, and that's
hey, is it bad to say I'm already ready for spring? Is it okay to say that? Okay. Ready for spring already. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about here on the show this morning, so we got to dive into it because we got a busy day ahead of us. As always, hey, look, Gates, you're right. I mean, I used to really like that, but I like bird hunting now, which I know that's kind of counter too because you got to duck hunt in the cold, and I do like that. But if I'm not chasing some kind of bird or something, I'm not hunting anymore. I'm either fishing. I don't have time to do either one, really. So it just
I was out hunting last week, and I can say that I was not going out in the morning. I was
always afternoon hunts for me.
Afternoon. I had Reese getting up, and I was like, you go. I am not going out there with you. Have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an afternoon hunt guy too, so it is what it is. All right, let's talk about, over the weekend, a lot of things went on, and Auburn had a basketball game. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. That still lacks a lot to be desired, to be honest, and, expectations. We'll talk about it, what Pearl said after the game, but more importantly, right now, football, Auburn up to 12 on the transfer portal watch list. I think with a lot more to come. Obviously, the big name this weekend, and my phone exploded. I knew it was coming. And my phone exploded, and it was Malcolm Simmons. And yeah, I talked to him, and it sucks. We're a little biased over here because I've known Malcolm a long time, and I've seen and I've read a lot of things. So I've had to try to take a step back and look at this thing objectively from both sides. And immediately when somebody enters the portal, your fan base jumps to the well, just go on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I've also seen some other people that cover Auburn that I'm a little disappointed in that goes, well, I think he was one of the ones that was being overpaid. And, I can't really fault the staff if they're looking at his production. Well, when did he have a fair chance to have production? Okay, he was I'm just using this as one example, Faith, and I want you to jump in and give your thoughts on this. But how can you look at somebody's performance in production and say, well, he was getting too much money. He was getting paid off potential. Who can help that the staff underutilized him? We said that this past week. Underutilization. Can I go down a list of guys, 4- and 5-star guys that have been underutilized at Auburn in the last 6 or 7 years? We want to talk about rosters and, these players and all this kind of stuff. how about a little development? How about a little get them in the scheme? That staff recruited him for a reason, to bring him in to be a part of that offense. And so I get, from an objective standpoint, a new staff looking, going, okay, maybe I'm just playing hypothetically. I don't know if this is how it worked out or not. But if they're saying that, how can you say, well, his production wasn't quite up to standard for that position, so we're not going to either pay him as much, or we don't really need him and we're going to bring somebody else in? If that's how it went down, I don't know that that was really fair. I'm not saying that it did go down like that, but I did see a lot of talk in different arenas that kind of lent itself to that kind of banter.
I agree 100% because, again, last week we talked about the underutilization of a lot of the guys on the team, and even some of them not putting them in the position for them to succeed and be successful. And so you can't knock him on that. I mean, think about Cam Coleman too. That's somebody who was underutilized a tremendous amount. And I think Alex Golesh sees that in a lot of these guys and a lot of different players out on the team. It also doesn't help when, you don't have a quarterback that was used either throughout the whole season to help with any of the connection between anyone on the offense, but also, again, the coaches who, again, haven't developed anybody. They haven't had them move up any. So it is disappointing and it does stink. But again, wanting to either bring somebody in or develop the guys on your roster and showing them the kind of potential that they have, but also proving it to them in the past of, hey, this is what I've done with this guy, this guy, and this guy. Look at how he's grown and how he's been able to move on to the next level with his progression, instead of, this is what you could be. I think Alex Golesh has that track record where he can say, hey, this is what I've done. Let me show you what I can do with you.
Right. And I see a lot of comments coming in. We'll try to dive into as many as we can as we move forward. But, I think you looked at a freeze 4. Now it's down to a freeze 2. And Freeze is gone too, so we can't even say that. It's like 2 guys left, and Bryce Kane and Cam Coleman. And again, I think a good push to keep Cam Coleman's in place. Most of Malcolm's production obviously came after Hugh Freeze left. Is that a coincidence? So I hear what everybody's saying over here, and everybody's got their own opinion on why somebody got more playing time and more snaps. But if a guy was in trouble, Tubbs, why all of a sudden when the coach leaves, his production explodes? Okay, so I'm not saying your rationale's wrong. I'm not saying that he's one that you're referring to. I'm just saying that if you're using that rationale, to me, from an outsider looking in, if I'm looking at this thing, I'm going, yeah, that's exactly what we all thought. That's who we thought he was. But once again, the coaching sucked and the scheme sucked. I mean, and all of a sudden he's catching 4, 5, 6 passes a game. He's getting way more snaps. He's got over 240 something yards in 2 ball games in receptions. When you look at Mercer and Alabama, I mean, could he have not done that against Kentucky? Could he have not done that against Missouri? Could he not have done that against X number other team? I mean, why all of a sudden at the end, it just really pisses you off. I'm sorry. It just really does, that you did build this roster up and you didn't know what the hell to do with it. You didn't know how to utilize them. You obviously knew they were great players. You went out and got Perry Thompson. You went out and got Cam Coleman. You went out and got Mal. They were priority. I mean, Justin just said, curious how much of the budget you put toward wide receivers, because they were priority. It's supposedly in this offense, but when you get them here and you don't use them correctly, I mean, Cam Coleman's been grossly underutilized. And I know somebody's going to jump in, not naming names, and say, oh, his effort's been terrible, blah, blah. I mean, come on, man. This has been – Auburn people look for reasons to come up with why somebody doesn't do something. I'm not saying in some instances people don't give 100%, but when every time it goes against your team or goes against your rationale, you go, well, it's because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. I mean, is everybody on the roster not doing what they're supposed to do? I mean, you and I were there almost every week, Faith. I never saw any dissension. I never saw anybody calling somebody out because they didn't feel like they weren't giving 100. I mean, I just the mood and the culture from that standpoint from the players felt really good. But it just felt like the coaching staff was not doing what they needed to do to put the players in the position to be successful. And obviously that's the case, especially offensively. Maybe not necessarily defensively, because I think for 2 years now, DJ Durkin's done a pretty dang good job as the defense kind of progresses throughout the year. But offensively, grossly underperformed.
The same way that we said that we saw at practice Marcus Davis for the first time actually coaching the receivers after Hugh left. That was the first time we saw him involved. And I'm not saying that that's a cut on Marcus Davis. I'm saying I don't think he was able to with Hugh Freeze there. So again, this is all going back to the coaching and the culture when Freeze was there. And I know you can't continue to talk about that and continue to harp on that, but I do think it probably left a bad taste in a lot of these guys' mouths of this is what it's been like in the past. I'm sick of it. I mean, I don't know. I think it is hard for them to say, hey, I want to stay here with all this history that we have and not being able to be used to our full potential. It's been wasted the last 2 years. And I want to go somewhere where they're going to be able to say, hey, this is how we're going to use you. Seen it in the past. But you're also getting that with Alex Golesh coming in. So it is kind of a hard decision.
I mean, let's talk about, if we want to talk about development, has anybody in the tight end room developed in the last 5 years? And I know we go down this path, but I mean, we look at this depth chart and, when you look down at, okay, I know that when you look at this portal, first of all, Hollis Davidson got in trouble, never got a chance. He's entering the portal. But then you bring Preston Albert in, and it's just there's been and you really want to put in Hugh Freeze's offense, tight end obviously was very important. It was a very important piece, and you got nothing out of it. So
you were talking about putting Perry Thompson in that tight end position because you were literally getting nothing.
Zilch. Completely nothing.
You moved Tate Johnson to the tight end
offensive
position.
lineman yeah, exactly. So when you look at this portal up to 12, I said last week, what did I say? The number for people to brace?
30.
We're almost halfway there. And I know for a fact there's more coming. We know of at least 3 or 4 more that have not actually declared. And again, nobody gets, and I saw a comment, I think Ed said, I don't know if it was Ed, it was on up. If it wasn't you, Ed, I apologize. But whoever it was said, yeah, just because you get in the portal doesn't mean you have to leave. But most of the time, if you're in the portal, you're probably gone. And look, I'm all for this too. I mean, you got to break things down to the bare bones and then build it back up the way you need to. But I think people need to understand, and they don't need to cross over their expectations, that it could be a massive rebuild with all the people coming out and how many that you realistically can get back in the portal when you rebuild this roster, plus this schedule coming up next year. It's a totally different mindset from this past year going into this season than what we're probably going to be looking like here. Now, again, you're cleaning out a culture. You got rid of most of the coaches. You kept a few in there. You kept a few, especially on the defensive side. But for the most part, everything on the offensive side is completely brand new. And so from a mindset and in fairness to Alex Golesh, maybe you need to go, hey, let the man do what he's got to do. He's meeting with these players. He's having the discussions, whether it's a mutual parting of the ways or whether a player wants to leave or whether he wants them to leave. Okay, you got to say, this is what you get paid for. This is why you got hired. Now go out and make the decision to build this program into what it needs to be.
I want to get Shaker Jack. I want your credentials on where you're saying that Malcolm got in a huge fight with Sam Turner a few weeks back, and Jeremiah Cobb and Cam Coleman are on the way out. Golesh was weird in his meetings from what I've heard. He isn't going to be able to recruit. I want to know the credentials of where you're getting that information,
He's
and
not gonna give
also
them to you. But
yeah, and also I don't know if that's exactly what we heard.
yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. Like I check the pulse. I don't have first of all, I don't have to get into any back and forth. Everybody's welcome to say what they want to say. And I think that's great. That's why we have an open forum. That's why we go live and a lot of people record. Okay. So there you go. Okay. So we afford you the opportunities, and Ed, exactly. There's boatloads of trolls out there, but we give a platform for people to come in here and spew whatever they want to spew.
Well, and I'm just saying I wanna know where I wanna
There's
know.
not, Faith. They don't have any. I
Okay.
mean, or it's just a bunch of let's say this so we can stir up stuff, and it's fine. So we won't give credence to that. If you got something that's legit, that's fine, and some of it may be. I'm not. Look, all we're like Faith said, we're just asking where you get your information. You want to share it?
I'm
Please
just
do.
interested, that's
I do
all.
have a finger on the pulse, Tubbs, and I've known Malcolm a long time, and I'm not with him all the time. Are you with him all the time? I mean, he's a kid just like every one of these other ones. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer for everything, but a lot of times I can count numerous things that you've said that are wrong. Okay. So it's okay. I mean, you can say what you want to say, but it's fine. All right. So going back to some of the ones, and I know Justin had a question about Eric Singleton. I think this staff really wants to keep Eric Singleton because of the fit of how he pulls into this offense, and I think he's a priority. So I think it'll be up to Eric Singleton. Does Eric Singleton really love like that's what a lot of people don't realize too. Like it's money. It definitely is money, but it's also do you like where your feet are right now? And do you like and you gotta give everybody a fair opportunity here. New staff needs to learn the players, and the players need to learn the new staff, and they have a very small window to do that. And there's a lot of decisions that have to be made on both sides, whether they feel like I'm a right fit for this offense and vice versa. Are they a right fit for my offense? You got to think about all this. This portal opens January 2nd. So they're all trying to figure out if you really like a place, you're going to do everything you can to stay there. And if you don't like a place, you're probably already knowing that it's not a fit for you. It's not going to work. So, I'm not saying that the people that are in the portal didn't like Auburn, but they already kind of had an idea for whatever reason that they weren't going to be a contributor or things weren't up to date where they needed to be with this current staff. So they went ahead and said, or it at least told people so they could get it out there that they have intentions of entering the portal on January 2nd.
Yeah. I mean, again, the timing of all of this really stinks for a lot of schools, not just Auburn, because of
Right.
the end of the season, some people even still being in the season, and then the head coaching, portal, signing day, all those things. So, I mean, it is just the timing of all of this that is difficult. But again, this is going to show how quick Alex Golesh is going to be able to sell Auburn and sell his staff to a lot of these guys that are, thinking about going in the portal and trying to recruit guys out of the portal to come to Auburn with the one portal window.
Right, right. Hey, there's another room that we want to look at that's concerning. Okay, so we'll do that right after this, after we talk about some of our partners, and we start with Sensagreen.
Sensagreen, for air that's cool and clean over the holidays, make sure to call Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation for air that is warm and clean. Call Sensagreen with Carrier, turn to the experts.
Absolutely, and it needs to be a little warm and clean now as we turn into the 20s with wind outside, so make sure you turn to the experts there. Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm in Birmingham, Alabama, and they handle your projects from the start to the finish, the pre-planning phases all the way to the finished product. They make sure everything is done up to par. And I'm telling you, if If you don't have a program management company leading a massive multi-million-dollar project, you are screwing up. So make sure you call on Scout Program Management. Check them out online, scoutpm.com. They will take care of you, and you will be glad that you did that.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn. Bunkers is the place to be no matter what game, event, or even just what you're doing going on. You got to go to Bunkers. It's one of the best places to go. They've extended the dining, so go there. 2 bars. I mean, it's just one of the best places to go. So downtown Auburn, 50 parking spaces, great food, music, fun, everything in Bunkers in downtown Auburn.
Yeah, I ran into Alan, one of the owners, on Friday. I sent you a message. I told you that, man, they're so appreciative of our partnership, but we're appreciative of theirs as well. It's an equal deal there and helping them grow. And they've got more changes coming, by the way. More changes. We'll let you know about that. And it's all good. All their changes have just been great. So they got even more changes coming up. We'll let you know about more down the line. And Alabama's premier golf cart superstore, The Cart Source. I saw stickers and ads this weekend all over the place for The Cart Source, and we're so glad to be partnered with them. Go check out the best place to buy a golf cart or multiple golf carts. We know businesses that buy the people movers, and they're perfect for whatever event that you need. They've got you covered from Easy Go to Cushman, Yamaha, Club Car, all of the best top lines. 334-231-2205. Go tell Harrison the Auburn Blitz sent you. And again, it's creeping up on Christmas time. I don't know of a better gift to give somebody or to yourself.
New, used, they can order them, whatever it is.
They got you covered from top
I
to
saw
bottom.
actually a lot of billboards too this past weekend for them.
Crazy, and it's so good for Harrison and that group down there. So Wes said, lastly, I need y'all on 105.9 The Zone in Mississippi. Hey, look, let them know. They can pipe us in over there. Tell them to reach out to us. We'd love to jump on in over in Mississippi. How about that? Faith would really like to be blasted all throughout Mississippi. So
Mississippi.
Jump on in there. Auburn has multiple fast make you miss wide receivers on the roster. It was too crowded and expensive to keep 4 slot receivers. I'm fine with Simmons leaving. That's fair. If all of them stay. There was a reason he was starting, though, Ed, over the other ones. How many of these guys are being cut versus leaving? That's a good question. That's what we were talking about, Justin. I mean, I think just in the previous conversation that we were just having, it's a sit down and it's an equal thing. Some are leaving on their own. Some are being maybe told that, hey, look, you can stay, but it's going to be this way, and they don't like that.
Right.
We don't know that. That's between them and the coaches.
Yeah, I was going to say some of that is just we don't see a fit for you scholarship-wise on this roster and see where you're going to be able to make a difference. But again, like you just said, we don't know any of that. And I'll be honest, some of the other people that are saying they do probably don't.
Yeah.
Reporting-wise, so.
Right. So, I mean, again, people can say whatever they want to say. All right. Depth chart wise, the room that I'm concerned about, running back. Who's left and what does it look like? I mean, Alvin Henderson, does he stick around? How much does he contribute if he does? Jeremiah Cobb, you better do everything you can to keep him. Now, I think once again, underutilized is the word that continues to come up with guys. He was underutilized. He should have had well over 1,000 yards rushing. The fact that he did not is a joke. And
maybe if the Texas A&M game, the 4 yards were a little different, he probably would. So
when you have almost 1,000 yards and you went completely missing in several games is baffling. Okay, Omar Matson, who really should have still been in high school this year, was your true backup after Darrell Robinson goes out with an injury. We never saw Darrell Robinson back. How does that affect him? Is he coming back? Does he get in the portal? Does this coaching staff like Darrell Robinson? Do they have enough to know what they want to do with him? I mean, again, that's one of those things that it's going to come down to a conversation, and they're both going to have to make a decision. I mean, I think it's clear as a bell that you better go out in the portal and get at least 2 guys from the way this running back room looks. And I don't know what that looks like and where they come from, but you better go find 2 that you bring in. Because once again, the storyline here is that there is no spring portal. There is no, let me see what we can get through in spring, and if we have some deficiencies, we'll go get somebody at the spring portal. This is a one-shot deal now. And we've talked about how the calendar's screwed up. You got the playoffs coming up this coming Friday starting, and all the stuff going into the new year, and then the portal window opens. And the bowl games, by the way, did anybody even know they're playing any bowl games? Like there was, I think the Boise game and Washington game had like 20,000. There's no way there were 20,000 people there. They said there were 20,000 people. By the way, they've already announced that bowl's out next year. It's dead. And all bowls should be dead unless they change the format, because who the hell's watching? I didn't even know it was on. And we were all inside all weekend. So that tells you. I mean, nobody cares anymore. So the whole thing is messed up. It's all messed up. Can they figure out one more way to screw something up? And when I say they, college football in general, anybody, I don't even know who the leaders are anymore to make the decisions. But all of this is crammed into one tiny little bitty window. And you better get it right. That's kind of why I said as the title. You have one shot at this thing, and with you having a complete rebuild, it feels like, if you go out of the spring or go out of this portal window with some big holes, you don't have an opportunity to fill them. You got to just figure it out.
Again, I think this is going to show how aggressive Alex Golesh is when this whole portal thing opens up and starts, because, again, he's building this roster, and he's got, a few guys on his coaching staff that are former Auburn players, and they can do somewhat of a selling job to some of these guys to come and play there. But he is inheriting a good roster, but a damaged recruiting class. Yep. And also,
it's a good term, by the way. I think that I haven't heard that term used, but I think you nailed it there.
But again, also just the same way that the last 5 seasons have just been terrible. Like, the reputation of Auburn football is just starting to go downhill.
Well, when you put together the product that Auburn's put together, like you said, for 5 years now, you have no choice but to have a bad rep and to have a damaged product. I mean, it's unfortunate.
But if all you're going to get is South Florida guys, that's not going to be good enough in the SEC.
It's not. I think you're saying a lot there. I think people want to say there's a reason they went to South Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a reason they ended up there, and it's not a shot at them. Byron Brown's gone down there and obviously competed and shown that he can compete at a high level. And if he were to transfer, I think everybody would be fine with that. But then you also got, we just talked about the running back room being scary. What about the quarterback room? We don't even know what the hell that's going to look like. I mean, everybody could be gone again when you look at it from a standpoint of how it worked out last year. I mean, you brought a freshman in, and then you brought a transfer in. You brought 2 transfers in. It was a completely different quarterback room. Could be that way again this year. I mean, I don't know what kind of conversation Alex Golesh has had with Ashton Daniels. Jackson Arnold, we all knew that was out. And then the big mystery of if Deuce Knight stays or if he leaves. All of that.
He reposted all of his pictures and posted a new carousel of Auburn pictures. So who knows what
the mood
is going
of the day.
On right now this week in his life.
Yeah. Must be on the up. Now, it's like the stock market. Just ride the wave, man. Ride the wave. Just, again, trying to grab attention, trying to bring in eyeballs to you, and that's fine. If that's how you want to get attention, that's great. But it's just kind of bipolarish, and you need to just kind of figure it out. if you're that's been the hard part in this day and age, is that who's really somebody sent a text this weekend to me and said, there's no loyalty, whatever, and well, they're just not bought in. I said, well, who's bought into anything anymore? Can you tell me what that looks like? I mean, who is bought in? The walk-ons, they're bought in. But outside of that, if you're a premier top player, you're always out there sniffing, and you're always looking. You can say what you want to say. You can disagree with me. I stand firm to that, because you're always thinking that there's something out there. There's another opportunity that might be better, and that's the market that you're in. There is no, hey, you can look at Keldrick Falk. I'll give and I know his production was down this year, but that guy is still going to be a first-round draft pick, and he lived through and suffered through terrible years at Auburn. It was an elite player, and he made other people on that defense better. He opened up opportunities because he was on the field. We talked about that multiple times. Take him off, and then some of these other guys probably are not going to have the production that they had. And so, yes, he drew attention, but he stuck it out, man. And I'm sure he got paid well and all that good stuff, but he always felt like he was bought in and never wavered.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially having his brother come to Auburn too was probably also a good way of people saying, oh, that he is bought in, and he's telling his brother, hey, this could be you. This could, open up doors and opportunities for you. But I think he's made a name for himself at Auburn because, again, when you do have that production from Auburn as a team, individually, if you stand out, your name really stands out when the whole team is down, if that makes sense. Right. So, like, same thing with on the offense. If Cam Coleman or someone has a really good night, his name is going to stand out way more than all the bad things that happen. So just in a positive way, that's kind of
right
how you could spin it for him.
All right, some other comments coming in. Does AU win or lose these games next year? Florida, Vandy, Open, Mississippi State. I mean, we've got to have a little bit of discussion about how pathetic Diego Pavia is. But speaking of Vandy, I mean, that he's pitiful, man. His true character came out, though, and that's what he got blasted so bad by
his apology. Did you see his apology?
I don't care. Who cares? Wad that up and throw it away. I don't want to see it. It means nothing. The only reason he's apologizing is because he got called out for being a punk, and his true character came out, shooting birds and F Indiana and all that. Look, dude, you ain't erasing that. You say whatever you want to say, dude. The real Diego Pavia that everybody knew was waiting to exploded. And you got sour grapes and you're pissed because you didn't win, and you look like a little baby that you didn't win the prize. So you went out and spent a bunch of money and shot birds and clubbed it up and all that kind of stuff. And you're Johnny Manziel 2.0, except you didn't win the Heisman. At least Johnny Manziel won the Heisman. So you can say whatever the hell you want to say, dude. But at Florida, that's going to be interesting because you got John Summerall and maybe, Marcus Davis going down there, to boot. That one will be interesting. A lot of people will be watching that. Vandy, I think they're doing a great job. I think Clark Lee's put together a good program, and I think they'll find a way to be good without the mini Mite over there. And I think most everybody's just glad to see that guy exit. And there's just
Glenn's comment, Vandy will not be building a statue.
Well, it wouldn't take much to build it, Glenn. I mean, it would look about like this. So yeah, they're I think, but Clark Lee take him out, you're going to get a better look at what Vanderbilt is as a program. They got a lot of momentum, and obviously in Nashville, they're taking advantage of that now with NIL. You're starting to see more top-ranked guys decide to go to Vanderbilt. So I think there'll be a force, and Auburn has struggled the last couple of times with them, and we'll see what happens. And then Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I mean, Pete Golden should not scare you. I'm sorry. And Mississippi State's been at the bottom like we have. So you better win several of those, Justin, I guess, to sum it up. I don't know what our roster is going to look like, but you better win your fair share of them. So it's going to be interesting to see. Okay, let's get to a few more of our partners here on the program, Faith, and then we'll move into a little basketball talk as we head out here this morning. We'll start with Oliver Ross.
If you have any holiday parties, New Year parties, or if you're getting ready for the spring and you want a professional licensed bartending service, you're going to want to choose Oliver Ross. They are the professional bartending service for you. They can deal with up to 20,000 people, which is crazy. I don't even know 20,000 people. But if you have that many people, whether it's work or a wedding, whatever it may be, they are going to be the bartending service for you. They're going to set it all up, and then they are going to break it all down afterwards, so you don't even have to clean up after them. Call on Oliver Ross. They are awesome.
Russell Medical Center voted one of the top 3 best hospitals in the state of Alabama. And if you need great medical care and you're not wanting to fight the big city traffic and the hassle and all the stuff that goes with it, go to Russell Medical Center in Alexander City. They got great facilities, great doctors. They've got the cancer center in Alexander City right there with UAB. They've got everything that you need. So you need to come down, check them out. If you're looking for a place for great medical care, again, voted one of the top 3 best hospitals in the state of Alabama. Alex City Marine, 256-215-3474. Not only do they have these beautiful center console blackfin boats of all sizes with multiple motors on the back or one, depending on what you want to do with it, they've got a great selection of Landau Manitou pontoon boats that you can pick from. All types of new and used boats, bass boats, bay boats, whatever it is that you're looking for. Now's the time to be shopping. I know it's 25 degrees and windy outside, but now's the time to buy boats, not when it's springtime and summer, because that's when the prices go up, because everybody's back in the market. You get great deals right now. So if you're thinking about the summertime like we are right now, thinking about those days on the lake and at the beach, go ahead and speed that process up by going and buying you a boat at Alex City Marine. They're right there on Highway 280. You can't miss them. Go check them out. We appreciate them so very much. I did see something that in one of the pictures, they said if Axe body spray was a human.
I saw that too. That was hysterical.
And it's so true. So
it is. Or I saw something and it was like a Minecraft character and a pit bull mixed together.
And then the video of the small guy getting arrested and walking out saying that he got arrested. So yeah, he opened himself up for that. But on a serious note, have you ever seen anybody more arrogant?
No,
like from top to bottom, like just completely, like the entire thing was a complete disrespect to the Heisman Trust, to the process, to every. Okay, here's my question: Does Vanderbilt conduct? Is that something Vanderbilt wants representing them?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
When are they going to put out a statement? You know, where's the Vanderbilt people going? Hey, you know what? That ain't really who we are. You know, we appreciate what he did for us, but you know, shooting birds and having signs that say F another university and all this kind of stuff. Really, how would we feel? How would we have felt if that had been Cam Newton or whoever out in New York just living it up? I mean, he's Johnny Manziel 2.0. You can say whatever you want, but he ain't taking no hardware home. At least Johnny Manziel won the Heisman. He didn't win anything. All right. Auburn basketball. Just your thoughts on the game, reading Stephen Pearl's postgame and hearing his postgame presser. Still very disappointed in the defensive effort. Saw where Keyshawn Hall made a comment that he said our defense sucks. And I think they understand. Again, the score probably is not indicative of how that game went. It was close until the last few minutes. Auburn ends up winning 92-78, but point production wise, you had Elijah with 19. It was good to see him back. He's a ebb and flow guy.
Mhm.
But Tahad with 20, Keyshawn Hall with 22. But from a defensive standpoint, again, this team was 5-5 that you were playing, and Stephen Pearl just not happy with it. And he's a defensive specialist, and he said, I got to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to make this team better defensively. Got to do it pretty quick because the meat of the schedule is about to start.
Yeah. Again, like you said, the defense was just not good at all. I mean, definitely very disappointing to see that. And, you and I were texting at about halftime thinking, wow, what has happened? I mean, it's just they have basically fallen off completely. So I I don't know what the answer is, you know?
I don't either. And again, I just want to be honest. I think Auburn fans need to understand that the absence of a true big man on this team has been they're having a hard time adjusting. And you look around, you look at Arizona, you look at the teams at the top. Michigan, they got a lot of dominant big. Look, look at what we did last year. Went to the Final Four. You had Dylan Cardwell and Janai Broome, and they just locked things down inside, and they made it impossible for people to get to the rim. So you force a part of the game away from a team when you're playing them, and you just don't have that presence. And you're asking way more out of Keyshawn Murphy than is expected. He's really not a true. I mean, Keyshawn Murphy would rather hang out around the perimeter if you ask him.
Mhm.
That's more his style. Now he can go down and mix it up, but if you're primarily counting on him in that position, then you got some deficiency. So, and I know that like Alabama got dusted by Arizona in Birmingham. This what they have clearly shown that they are elite. Michigan shown that they are elite. They deserve that. But kind of where does Auburn fall in this thing? I mean, Auburn's got good pieces, but can they? One thing I didn't expect is for Auburn, a Stephen Pearl led team to be not good on defense. I guess is where I'm going with it.
That's exactly I feel like we were having this conversation when it came to football not too long ago when DJ Durkin became the interim head coach, and
Yep.
then the defense kinda just trailed off. Um, Stephen Pearl might be spreading himself too thin and not hanging out with the defense nearly as much as he could be. But again, we talked about also the individuality of the play time, and maybe not play time, but of the players and how they've been playing more for themselves than they have for each other. Um, I think that was something that, Keyshawn Hall addressed. Um, and he said, I was trying to dish it to other guys, let them hit some shots. My biggest thing every game is I always try to crash the rebounds. That gets me going. And I do think maybe that for him and for Keyshawn Murphy for some of the rebounds, but has been improved. It's improved a little bit more, I would say,
Right.
of the team play, maybe.
That again, you're going to find out because the SEC. I mean, you get Auburn's played a tough schedule to this point. They've obviously played and will play three of the best teams, if not the best, complete best in the country by the time they finish up with Purdue this coming up weekend. So you have played Houston, Michigan, Arizona, and Purdue. I mean, they're all top-rated teams. All are potential Final Four teams. But then you get in the SEC, and it's more about the endurance. It's the longevity. It's the marathon. It's not the sprint like it is in the pre-SEC, because every SEC game is important, and every one of them is a grind, whether you're at home or on the road. And it's more about how can you spread that out and play consistent basketball. You know, when you play Arizona and then you may give effort and then you got Chattanooga, you may go, okay, well, I can let my hair down a little bit and maybe not play up to that level and still win. When you're in the SEC, it doesn't matter. I mean, every game has equal importance. Doesn't matter what the team's record is. So it's the marathon part of the schedule, and it's what determines whether you'll make the tournament and where you'll be seated and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ed kind of summed up my point of the basketball team lacks vet leadership.
And we talked about that last week a little bit too, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's
Who's the
kind of
leader?
where I was getting at of, you know, Tahad being a sophomore, being the only guy back.
Yep.
You don't see any leadership from him, do you?
Not really. Not much. So again, maybe that'll change as the season continues on. All right, everybody. It's been fun. It's always fun to get started on a Monday here with all of you. And we appreciate all of you so much, even though you may not agree with what we say, and we may not agree with what you say. We do give you a platform to talk, and that's what it's all about. We enjoy the banter back and forth. We're going to continue to bring you the most up-to-date, accurate information that we possibly have here on the Auburn Blitz, and we'll continue to do that. And if you like that, please hit the subscribe button. If you have not done that, we'd appreciate it so very much. We know a ton of you have, and we're so thankful for that. Make sure you hit the like button as well. And look, not to dismiss our Facebook people out there. We know we have got a bunch of you that watch on Facebook. I see those numbers, man. We appreciate that so much. So for both outlets there, make sure you hit the like button and friend us over there on Facebook as well. We'd appreciate it so much. Faith and I have a on the road show to shoot this morning. Going to be wrapping up just to kind of give everybody a preview. Kurt Johnson coached the Alabama Mississippi squad. Faith was in Hattiesburg last week. Got some great footage over there of practice and everything going on. And Team Alabama won that game dominantly this past weekend, 40-10. So we'll be catching up with Kurt Johnson and several other fun things today here for our on the road show that'll be coming out next week. I just put out the Super 7 show yesterday from the previous week, so go check that out on our AHSA Radio Network Facebook page out there. If you didn't catch it on TV, go check that out, and we'd appreciate that as well. So, Faith, got anything else before we get out?
Hope everyone has the best week ever. Stay warm.
God, yes, no kidding. Wear you a jacket outside. I promise you're going to need it. Be nice to people out there. Be good. And we will see you next time for more.